Wonderful.
Hi everyone, my name's Claire. I am the head of projects here at Birchal and I'm tuning in from Naarm, Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. I would like to pay my respects to the traditional owners of the country from which I am. It is the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and I do pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. I'm so unbelievably excited today to be joined by Ace and Marcus from the Threadheads team to talk about their investment opportunity in this 1 hour power hour webinar. Ooh, confetti, yay. So guys, I'll pass over to you to introduce yourselves, then I'll do a little bit of housekeeping and we'll get cracking.
Hi, I'm Marcus Siegel, the co-founder of Threadheads.
I'm Ace, also co-founder.
And I'd like to start off basically by thanking you all for coming and for the amazing support that you've shown us through the years. And so far in this EOI period on Birchal, it's been phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely insane. I think we have the second highest amount of EOIs ever in the history of Birchal. So we're super grateful and really excited to kick things off on the 21st.
So thank you all for that, just to start with.
Amazing.
Okay.
What I might just do, just before you guys do kick off, is just as we're going through the presentation, it will go for about 15 or 20 minutes. If you have questions for Marcus and Ace, please use the Q&A box only down the bottom. And I believe you also have the ability to upvote your answers too. So if you see a question that someone's put out there, you think, gee, that's a great question, I'd love that answered, make sure you upvote it, ask your questions, and we'll have 40 minutes of Q&A at the end. So sorry, Marcus and Ace, over to you.
No, it's all good, all good.
No problem. So I guess most of you understand what Threadheads is. For those that don't, I'll give you a brief rundown. And we're a pop culture apparel company, and we started out because we wanted to print fun, make fun designs and that put smiles on people's faces. That was a big part of what we wanted to do. We started in 2018 in a small shop in Moorabbin. It was actually an ex-massage parlor. So it was a little bit of a dubious beginning. And every bit of money that we made, we reinvested into the company. And we've been able to, through hard work and dedication, build a company that did $13 million of revenue last year. And we now also work with amazing companies like Warner Brothers, Sony, Sega, and many more. And we want to become one of the leading pop culture brands globally.
Absolutely. And look, the real purpose of this raise is to accelerate our growth plans. We've done everything so far with our own money. We did without any external funding. So we've always had to be profitable. We've always had to reinvest every dollar back into the business. And now we're at this position where we can really invest in new products. We can expand into more geographic markets, which we'll touch on. And there's just so much upside in the business right now. So we just want to kick that off and achieve it faster, pretty much. It gives you like a high level overview of what we've been able to achieve to date. The total sales in the last 12 months, over $13 million, total units sold, 270,000. We're one of the biggest companies that's been on Birchal, which has been, it's an exciting opportunity because we're still in an early phase of growth, but we've sort of got the runs on the board that you can see. We know how to operate the business, and we also have a pretty good strategy going forward. So you can see where the opportunities lie ahead. We've donated over 7,000 garments to disadvantaged members of the community through our partnership with Thread Together. We have a team of 27 currently, but it will be boosting up to 30 as we've just parted ways with a few agencies. We've brought everything in-house, which is going to be great. We've designed over 730 images that we use on t-shirts, hoodies, sweaters, mugs, tote bags, all sorts of products. And then, yeah, that growth rate has been tremendous, certainly better than what you would get having your money in the bank. So that's been something that's been really just, it's just happened so quickly, really. And we're excited to keep it going. The business models it's a simple one. Really, when you distill it down to its core parts, we design artwork that goes on apparel and accessories. We market it direct to consumer. So we have a website. We use the standard digital channels, whether it's Google, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and that mix to drive traffic to the website. And then as the orders come through, we print them digitally, which is an aspect of the business model that we can touch on now. Essentially, that allows us to eliminate, the biggest feature is it allows us to eliminate upfront inventory spend. And that's big in the context of this raise, as we'll touch on later, because it means we don't need to allocate a lot of capital towards inventory. We're literally buying inventory as we go using a just-in-time method. So it allows us to grow a lot faster and grow rapidly in new markets and be close to the customer, which is really exciting. We currently have 2 production centers, one in Melbourne, which is our HQ. We own all of the capital equipment. It's all bought outright. And then we have a production partner in the Czech Republic. And because we have this background in printing, we're able to communicate with them regularly. So we're achieving a really quality product.
Yeah, well, the fact that we understand the product enables us to iron out any issues that may arise in the production process, which I guess a lot of other companies don't have that ability. So that is a strength of ours. Also with the DTG method, you basically are able to get a phenomenal amount of colors and detail into your prints, and which means that we are able to basically replicate a design exactly how you see it on the screen. And compared to a lot of competitors, the quality is phenomenal. And it's pretty much what you see on the screen is what you're going to get on a shirt. And it is a key difference between what we offer and competitors offer.
Yeah, and when you think about our warehouses, whether it's the one in Melbourne or in Prague, look, what we have in there is just a lot of blank stock. So we have, blank t-shirts, hoodies, sweaters, all sorts of different colors. And as the order comes through, we're able to then print on demand any one of those items. So it gives you a lot of flexibility on the back end in terms of how we fulfill the orders, but also on the front end, it means customers can choose more colors, they can choose what style they like. And we can offer a whole number of designs that other businesses can't do with traditional, importing of stock. So that's a big feature. And then the final piece really is the identical product and the automation we have.
Absolutely. We've developed our own software. So every product we add to the store, it gets its own unique barcode. And all you have to do is basically load the product onto the printer. You scan a barcode and you're getting an identical result regardless of where you're printing it. So if a product is printed in Australia, Czech Republic, soon to be in America, you're going to get an identical looking product, which is amazing. And when we started, we would have to train people up, and the prints sometimes were a little bit larger and smaller and higher or lower, and it was something that I really found quite annoying because
I'm the worst at printing. I would print them all crooked. It was disastrous.
I really wanted a consistent product, and I felt that was very important. So we took the time and effort to develop this software, which has been phenomenal for us. Moving on to the design studio, this is a key feature of Threadheads. When we started out, it was, as I said earlier, we wanted to make fun designs and things that people would have a bit of fun with. And we didn't want to just put any product onto a shirt. So we went out and found illustrators that were able to realize the ideas and the visions that we had. We have 5 designers in Australia that work with us in-house now. And we've also added designers, and we've got one from Mexico, South Africa, and in America, and that's something that we're keen to keep adding to, and we will be doing that after the raise. So that will allow us to come out with more original content, which people really seem to love. So that's fantastic for us. And we also invite artists from around the world that have their own designs. We have incredible artists like Stephen Rhodes, Vincent Trinidad, just to name a couple, and they're able to sell their designs on Threadheads as well and receive commissions for those. So we're always on the lookout for new artists and are hoping to add to them as well. And our licensed collaborations basically is the third element of our design studio. So we work with all of those licensed companies and we create unique designs for them that you won't find anywhere else either.
Absolutely. And just to touch on that, I mean, we really only started exploring this licensing program in 2021. And since then, the first companies we worked with were Bruce Lee, then we went to Sony. We're actually finding that companies now are approaching us. They're hearing from others about the quality of the work that we do, both on, in regards to our products, but also our marketing, how we can offer something different. And so we have this great lineup currently of brands that we work with, and we've got a few in the pipeline that are just as exciting as the names that you're seeing on this screen. So really for Q3, Q4, we're in negotiations now, and it really is going to be another string that we add to our bow, particularly some of the categories that we want to move into, whether it's sports, music, anime, things that we haven't quite explored yet.
And something I do hear from these licensed companies quite often is that when they've licensed to other companies before, they tend to go for the same assets all the time. So for example, if you had licensed Ghostbusters, they all go for the same no ghost logo and a Stay Puft design, and they choose really the 3 or 4 same designs that you're seeing across lots of different sales channels. And for us, we're able to offer a whole big range of products that, as I said before, I've never been seen before. So that's something that they find really exciting about Threadheads.
Yeah, and digital marketing really has been a huge focus for us since day one. I mean, there was a time where we thought that, our little shop in Moorabbin and the bricks and mortar presence would be a part of Threadheads, but we soon realized that we just had a bunch of drunks and like it was shocking, the sort of customers that would come in. And
it's not great.
It was pretty gloomy. And so from that grim setting, we realized that our customers were actually on the internet. And so since then, really, and this is my responsibility in the company, is like, how do we actually grow the company? Where are the new opportunities that we can uncover to take Threadheads to the next level? And that's always front of mind for me. And so, from over the last 2 years, really, it's been, we're going to sell direct to consumer at threadheads.com. We're going to slowly bring all of our marketing activities in-house and make sure that we are best practice across all of the key channels that we work on. We want to have customers anywhere in the world. And so we've had a global focus. We were testing in Asia Pacific, in Europe, in the United States, even with just our production center in Melbourne, which other companies aren't always prepared to do. And that's given us this insight into what we need to do to turn Threadheads into a truly global company. And then there's the large creative team, which allows us to differentiate. Copywriters, graphic designers, videographers, they all want to work for Threadheads because we're such a fun company. And not many brands get to work with Rick and Morty one week, then Harry Potter, then Sonic the Hedgehog, then Ghostbusters, then Cobra Kai. Yeah. So it's just it's such an exciting place to work for creative talent.
And we did tinker around with that mix early on. And I think the last 18 months, we've managed to develop a phenomenal team, and we all collaborate on these marketing ideas, and everyone brings their strengths to the table. So it's a fantastic mix that we've got at the moment. And it's a real testament to Ace and the hard work that he's put in there.
All right. So the growth has been great. We're growing year on year. We have so much left in the tank in terms of where we want to take this. So for us now, after doing 1, then 5, then 10, it's like, what's the next step? Can we do 20? Can we do 25? Can we do 30? What are we going to do in this next financial year that's set to start very soon? And we're going to show you what the future looks like for Threadheads and what strategies we have moving forward. And I think you'll sort of get an idea of how we can get there.
Importantly, the figures that you're seeing on this page have largely been achieved in a domestic market as well. So we feel that the growth potential is huge.
Yeah, definitely.
The community, yes. Yeah. Community's always been an extremely important part of Threadheads as well. And we love to have a community that we regularly engage with. And if you look at the demographics, and when we started out, and because we've got a bit of an age gap here, I think it's 19 years, Ace used to get stuck into me that I'm designing and my ideas are for old men. So I'm really pleased to see that our 25 to 34 years and under has grown quite rapidly. It's fantastic.
Pretty much due to Marcus's tremendous age, we were able to have a really even spread. And so we have younger designers, we have Marcus, so there's quite a mix. We appeal to a broad demographic. And then even with regards to gender, it's quite split down the middle. And we're also really popular with kids too. And so there's lots of parents that are buying for their kids as well. And then in terms of like how you look at a brand and how you value a brand, a lot of it's to do with how many people search for you on Google, how many people engage with your emails. And they're 2 areas that we've been really strong in and are set to continue to grow.
And a big part of our community has been our socials as well. Instagram was something we invested a lot of time in, probably earlier than the other channels. and we're sitting just under 150,000 at the moment. I was hoping it would tick over before the webinar, but we're very close. And it's been an amazing platform for us. We engage regularly with customers on there, and we put up a lot of exciting and fresh content. So we love that. And the email list, we've grown to 165,000 people. Again, that's a fantastic method for us to communicate with our customers. We bring special offers to them and give them early access to new product ranges. So that's been fantastic. TikTok's a relatively new one, and we got onto that fairly late, but we've managed to build it up to over 10,000 followers at the moment. Video is a medium that we're going to be investing a lot more time in the future. The whole team loves to get involved in video, so we're going to have a lot of fun with that moving forward. And TikTok, I see being an area of massive growth for us. So that will grow quite rapidly.
We've done that in like 2 to 3 months.
That's
really.
It's been really rapid.
Video is a big space for us, especially with YouTube as well, but we'll touch on that later.
Oh, the key markets, of course, being an Australian company, our Australian market was the one that grew very quickly early on. We were marketing overseas initially, but the customer experience wasn't exactly what we wanted to offer. And the parcel delivery times, there was a significant lag. We were finding that people were waiting sometimes, anywhere between 4 to 8 weeks for their parcels. And we didn't want to give people that experience. We're very strong on our quick fulfillment. So we stopped marketing to those areas, and we found a production partner in Prague, which we were very, very lucky. That was a process that took quite some time, and we were very fortunate to find a production partner that shared the same values that we had in terms of the quality of product and also the commitment to a quick turnaround time of fulfillment. And as you can see, moving from October 2021 to April 22, we pretty much have doubled the UK and the European markets, which has been phenomenal.
Absolutely. And a big part of that is the software that allows us to integrate, which gives us the opportunity to have that same quality product in Prague. And it's a similar thing for the US. We're ready to integrate. We don't need to have that upfront inventory expenditure. So it's really, let's connect with this US partner and see that same growth that we saw in Europe and the UK in the United States. And then we really have the largest markets in the developed world accounted for, and we can just focus on continuing to grow in those areas. This is something I'm really passionate about. I set out to buy every piece of branding that I could find on the internet. So look, we didn't have the threadheads.com in the early days. It was a long, arduous process of back and forth. The person wouldn't respond. He's from Louisiana.
No, yeah, he was from New Orleans, and he had bought threadheads.com, and he had sat on that for a long time. And it was about 2 years, the process of acquiring that from him. And we tried quite hard in the early stages, and he stopped taking our phone calls and returning emails. So I got quite paranoid that wasn't going to happen. And as it turned out, Ace discovered that he happened to be a bass player in a band, and Ace is quite a proficient bass player. So I think he randomly messaged him one day and he said, I play bass as well. So they developed a little bit of a synergy with their bass, and a dialogue started again, and then he became receptive to selling. So we were really, really lucky.
Yeah, now we own all 3 trademarks for Australia, United States, United Kingdom, and Europe, which is really important, obviously, for protecting the brand. I'm very passionate about sustainability. Anyone that knows me knows that. So look, there are a number of factors that make us a sustainable business. Some because of our own decision making, and others just we've fallen into this business model that is quite green, as it turns out. So the first aspect, print on demand, is really sustainable. The idea that you fulfill orders as they come through eliminates most of the waste that you'll see in fast fashion. So rather than importing a container full of garments, let's say I import 10,000 red dresses and I only sell 100 red dresses, well, then you basically have all of this wasted stock that goes to landfill in most cases. So first of all, that's completely eliminated. The second thing that we're really looking at is having these local production centers that are as close as possible to the end consumer. By doing that, we're reducing carbon emissions because of transportation. So that's a really big aspect.
As we touched on before, communities are a very important part of what we do at Threadheads. And the fact that we've been able to donate over 7,000 items through our partner Thread Together has been a phenomenal achievement for us. Something we're really proud of. And we're talking garments that had slight imperfections, and we do have a very strong commitment to quality. So if something's not quite right, and we've been able to donate that, which has been incredible, and it's something that the whole team's very proud of.
Yeah, and then responsible sourcing, it's something that we somewhat outsource to AS Colour, who we work with in Australia, and Stanley Stella in Europe. That gives us a lot of flexibility because it means we don't need to directly engage with and monitor factories offshore. And so, look, they've been just incredible. Their commitment to responsible sourcing is exemplary. Stanley Stella in particular are market leaders when it comes to ethical sourcing. And so that's a big aspect of our business now too.
Yeah, look, early on, we were using Australia Post mailers, and that was something we decided to eliminate from the business fairly early on. So right now, we use compostable mailers, and we've tried to have a really positive focus on environmental considerations. There were products that we've looked at previously. We were going to bring air fresheners into Threadheads. That was something that a lot of people were asking for. So we went through quite a few factories. We had samples sent over, but there was no way of getting out of the little plastic inserts that they came in. So that was a product that we didn't go ahead with. For me personally, I've got a 2-year-old boy and a 5-year-old girl, and I would like to contribute positively towards the environment and have a sustainable company. Yeah. So it's very important for the both of us.
Barriers to entry, look, it's very important that we make the business defensible. This isn't a business where we literally import a product, we white label it, and that's our brand. Really, we have so many differentiating factors that set us apart from competitors and sort of built a moat around the business. The first is copyright ownership of all of our original artwork. That's a really significant thing. The second would be, Marcus's creative direction with his experience in the graphic t-shirt industry has sort of allowed us to identify what products will sell, what's likely to be popular. So that's been a big one.
Well, I had a lot of trial and error in the early years. Before Threadheads, I was involved in the printing industry. So as I said, Threadheads has been going for 4 years. And before that, I was involved in custom printing. I've been on all of the marketplaces. I've been on Amazon, eBay, Etsy. So I do have an understanding of the market and what people expect and what people like. And I'm able to pick up on trends as they happen. So that's something that's been a real strength of ours.
And that ties in with his experience with direct-to-garment printing.
Absolutely.
Which he brought to Threadheads. We have an in-depth understanding of print-on-demand technology, and that's why we're so effective at communicating with our production partner in Europe, and also how we've been able to build this software that enables that best-in-class direct-to-garment product. So that's been a really big one. Ties into the software that we own that people or competitors can't get. And then, of course, there's a few things here with regards to how we've been able to attract talent, like really like A-grade players that are part of the business now. And we're building this best-in-class digital marketing team, which I'm really excited about, because that's where the growth comes from. It's like, how do we, we've got these great products, how do we show it to more people? And that's our responsibility as a marketing team now. Differentiators, we are quite different to other brands in the space, really. There's not actually that many brands, they're more retailers. So you have mostly marketplaces or department stores. Marketplaces don't have the best product quality. They have lots of IP infringing content. They're notorious for that. Lots of lawsuits and stuff of that nature. And then with regards to department stores, they're not very digital first. So, and they're also not sustainable because they're not print on demand. So we're quite different to most of the companies in the space. And there's certainly not many brands that actually pay people to illustrate and draw pictures. That is like, it's a very unique business in that respect. So we think we're quite differentiated in the market.
The future, I guess, most of you would be extremely interested in the plans that we've got moving forward. As we've touched on a couple of times, entering the American market is a massive one for us. The largest graphic t-shirt country in the world. And we've got an unbelievable printing partner that we've lined up there, which is falling into the same category as our Czech Republic. And they have an extremely fantastic commitment to quality and fulfillment. So we feel that we'll be able to integrate with them very soon and have phenomenal results there. Licensing, we've been involved with licensing probably just under 12 months now, and we're hoping to expand our licensing program into anime. I've had very meaningful discussions with some companies about moving into that genre, and sports and music are other ones we're looking at as well.
Absolutely. As the business grows, obviously, we are able to reduce, our cost of goods sold. So the inputs that go into making our products. We're also able to strike better deals with licensing partners to lower royalty rates. There's also the opportunity to basically, as you keep scaling, your operational costs will stay flat to some extent. What will happen is you'll keep adding top line revenue to that, and the business can become more profitable as a result. So economies of scale is really where we see the business becoming very profitable in the future. And tying into that is also how we build a brand. Most of our competitors, whether they're marketplaces or department stores, they're not really building what I would consider a memorable brand. So whether it's our Threadheads Originals collection, some of the other collections that we have coming out, even our co-branded partnerships with licensors, Threadheads X, Cobra Kai, Threadheads X, Ghostbusters, we're able to elevate our brand and become recognizable, memorable, and ultimately people will come back because of that. So that's a big one for us.
Well, absolutely. And we've spent a lot of time and effort building our customer base. And as the Threadheads name has become more recognizable, it's something that we feel that we can capitalize on and include a lot more in our design. So we're very excited about that one. Our product range as well. And most of what we've done has been primarily t-shirts, hoodies, and sweaters. They're the main products that we've done. We introduced tote bags not a little while ago, and they've gone really well for us. So that's given us encouragement that we should diversify the product range. I can tell you that fourth quarter this year, we're looking to introduce art prints. That's something I've been asked about a lot. And we've got over 2,000 artworks on Threadheads. The vast majority will transfer and translate unbelievably well to art prints. So we're going to be introducing that. We're looking at mugs, things like mouse mats, iPhone covers. Socks is another big one that we're looking at as well, but lots of different products. And I do have quite a few companies that have contacted me that want to work with us that are involved in those sorts of products as well. So that's a really big one for us too.
Yeah. So just being mindful of time, the last two pieces of what the future looks like for us, and this is very high level, we want to make a bigger, more positive impact. So that means we need to be more committed to sustainability initiatives outside of just our business model. And so, look, there's so many things we want to explore there, whether it's partnering with more charities, also looking at what our partners will be for charitable donations in Europe and the United States, similar to what we have here in Australia. And so that's something we want to look at. And the final one is exploring more sales channels. To date, we've only sold really on our website. And so the idea that we still have the opportunity to move into bricks and mortar, whether it be through wholesale partnerships or even our own flagship retail stores in the future, that's something that we definitely want to look at.
And we are somewhat down the road with a couple of companies, bricks and mortar, that are interested in wholesaling Threadheads. So that's very exciting too.
Yeah. So we'll be brief on this. Basically, this is what we're looking at. We're not so committed to spending any of the capital raised through this raise on inventory. There will be some non-print on demand inventory, which you can see there. which will most likely be socks and a few other items. The art prints are actually, it's a machine.
That will be print on demand as well.
It will be print on demand. So the exciting thing about this raise is actually that most of the funds are going towards talent, they're going towards licensing, and a little bit of experimentation around marketing. So most of it is talent and licensing, which actually underscores just how much growth potential there is here, because if you're investing in any other type of business in e-commerce, you would literally have half of that money going towards inventory, which sort of curbs your ability to move into other areas. So I'm sure there'll be some questions around what we want to use the funds on. So we'll wait until we get to the Q&A, but predominantly we're looking at new team members. So talent, licensing, marketing, and a bit of product development in there. Yeah,
the funds are primarily going to be used in growth areas. And as they said, spending on inventory isn't something that we're looking at doing. We're completely committed to entering the USA market and building there and growing the brand globally. Absolutely. And this is, the final piece that's quite important for investors is like, at what point can you get a return on your investment? So look, our initial thing is that we want to build this to 9 figures. That's our goal. We've done $13 million in the last 12 months. How do we get to 9 figures? It's an ambitious goal, no doubt, but we believe we can do it. So along the journey, these are some of the outcomes that you might look at. I have somewhat of an aspiration for Threadheads to eventually be a public company, which would be great. But we would look at offers if any came along the way. Yeah, look, Threadheads, when we started, it wasn't about building a company and cashing out at the first opportunity. We have specific goals and things that we wanted to do with this company. We've achieved some of them, and we feel we've still got such a long way to go. And to use that term again, we feel we've only scratched the surface of what we can achieve. And I think so far what we've been able to do has been very encouraging. And, it's given us a really strong belief that all of these other things that we've planned will be able to materialize and grow the company. So for all of you that get on board, we do feel that we can do great things and increase the value of your investments. Yeah, we're just getting started pretty much. And that's it. That's it. Do I need to hand it back to you, Claire?
And here I am. I'm just still got my thing saying hiding self view. I'm going to stop your participant sharing. Oh dear, I can't see myself. Hang on.
36 in the Q&A. Here we go.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, what I might do, just show something. There I am. Great. Hello. So we've got 35 questions in the Q&A, and reminding everyone that this session is being recorded. So if you do have to drop off, we are recording all the questions, and we are also making sure that you'll get a recording of the session afterwards if you do have to go. So thank you so much for your participation in the Q&As. We'll get started. And then at the end of the session, we'll talk a little bit more about investing in a company like Threadheads, through a platform like Birchal, a little bit more about this asset class and what to expect when investing through an entity like this. So the first question from Mark, which has had 27 upvotes, and you've touched upon it a little bit already. But the question is, with $13 million of revenue generated in 12 months, why do you need to raise capital? How much are you attempting to raise, and how will that money be spent? I know you've discussed it a little bit now, but if you guys want to rehash on that answer, that'd be great.
Absolutely. Look, we could do it with our own funding, but we want to accelerate our growth plans. So, the first point is that we're setting likely a minimum target of $500,000 and a maximum target of $2 million. With the $2 million in funding, look, one of the biggest differentiators you can have as a brand in 2022 and moving forward is the people that you bring into the business. It's talent. And when we brought people into this company, it transformed everything we were able to do. Marcus and myself, you should have said, I was doing the graphic design at the start, and I am the worst designer ever. Marcus was printing the t-shirts. That's how we started. That's how we went for, quite some time before we realized more people are the key to unlocking the potential of this brand. And so people is the first thing. That is where we will allocate the majority of our funds, particularly given that we don't need to allocate again to inventory. So it's like, well, we've got all of these brands. We have all of the opportunity to put these designs onto different products and accessories. we need the people to actually bring that to market. Also, if we're able to bring in more illustrators, we can create more artwork that can then be distributed across all of those products as well. So, talent is the big one. And then beyond that, I want to experiment with some marketing channels. So there is some budget allocated to marketing. Marcus wants to look at some products that aren't print on demand because they're very profitable products. And so that's where they're the other areas that we want to invest the capital.
Yeah, look, I think the big thing is that, it's been amazing that we've been able to achieve so much, just putting everything in ourselves. But moving overseas, obviously it requires a much larger investment. And we feel that the time is right to have a capital raise. We've never asked for any outside finance before. But it's kind of on a scale now where we feel that that's really going to help accelerate that growth and keep things rolling. There's, as I said, with licensing, we'd like to enter anime, sports, and music. And most of those companies require a minimum guarantee, so the spend will help facilitate those licensing deals. And also, I think the team that we've had has been doing a phenomenal job. But as you expand, obviously we need to keep growing that team and bringing in new talent. That's one of the main things that I think we need to do. And also moving from agencies to bring everything in-house is going to be amazing for us as well. And that's a big part of this race too. So hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah, awesome. Fantastic. And I do know that more information will be available in the offer document when it's released next week in the offer campaign. The next question: how do you plan to compete in the US market when a majority of Americans aren't prepared to spend over $20 on a t-shirt?
Well, I mean, sort of what we're seeing with our metrics so far in terms of sales, in terms of conversion rate, average order value, those key metrics that we look at to determine performance. Americans love to buy stuff. That's what we've learned. And they like to buy stuff more than Australians, Europeans, or British people. And so I just think there's a great product market fit. It is where graphic t-shirts started. We're an 80s and 90s graphic t-shirt brand. We're like rooted in pop culture nostalgia, and Americans love it. And that's where a lot of these brands are also from, whether you're looking at Rick and Morty. I know you're not a fan of Rick and Morty, Claire, you told us, but all of those brands, Cobra Kai, Ghostbusters, they're American brands. And the fact that we could localize our marketing efforts and say printed in America, it's personal, but it's based on also what we've seen with our store. I just think the opportunity is immense over there.
I will also add that not all garments are created equally. We do position ourselves as a premium quality company in terms of the print that we offer. Often we use a lot more ink than other companies, so you're getting a lot sharper and brighter print. We use premium garments, and generally the product that we put out, it lasts a lot longer than some of the cheaper offerings. So that is a key point for us as well.
Yeah, fantastic. Next question. How will you manage the challenge of fast fashion versus upcycling and ensuring you retain a top position in the market whilst keeping the POD as environmentally friendly as possible and sustainable? Meaning, is there opportunity to connect with ecosystem partners for upcycling programs or offerings to help invite more people to buy from you whilst also removing landfill waste?
Yeah, potentially. I think we're coming from a pretty good base already with regards to waste. I think, a secondhand market makes a lot of sense for garments. And I think there's lots of programs that we can participate in terms of people being able to reuse their products. As Marcus touched on, we aspire to make the best graphic t-shirt on the market. And that means that the product is going to last you a lot longer from a starting point. So I think print on demand, a quality product that will last a long time, and the opportunity for secondary market resale of garments through partnerships, as well as our charitable donations program. I just think there's a lot there. I mean, we could even do stuff with our charity partners where people who want to donate their old clothes, their old threads, we can have an initiative around that. So there's a lot of room to work with there.
Fantastic. The next question to come through is that $13 million looks great on paper, but what is the profit and loss looking like? As a quick caveat to that question, for everyone tuning in the company's offer document, when it is available, you will receive the last fully completed financial year statements of the company's operating. So the 4 key financial statements, including profit and loss, balance sheet, cash flow, and statement of changes in equity as well. But with that sort of, context, did you guys want to touch upon profit and loss at all a little bit in today's webinar?
Absolutely. I think the main thing is that gross profit margins are healthy. You're looking at, particularly in the last 2 months, we've increased prices. We have restructured a few things. We've got lower artist payments. We've got lower rate licensing agreements. We have cheaper production inputs. So look, our target GPM is around 60%. At the moment for the financial year, we hit around 47%. So there's a bit of room to work with there. In terms of customer acquisition costs, you'll see that they're around 20 to 25% of revenue. We're going to be lowering that because agency costs were a big feature of our CAC. So for those of you that are across customer acquisition costs, so we're going to continue to lower that. And then you're looking at, in terms of our operating expenses, one of the great things about e-commerce businesses, I touched on this earlier, is you've got an operating expense base that really doesn't increase with growth. So what we've done is, like, every time we've had a dollar that's come into this business, we've reinvested it back into growth, typically into the team. So, we have quite a sizable creative team. The focus being that eventually, with economies of scale, and as you keep growing your top line revenue, you're actually able to have your operating costs as a smaller percentage of overall revenue, which makes the business more profitable in the future. So I think, gross profit margins are good. Net profit, we've reinvested a lot of money into the business, so I wouldn't expect it to be ridiculously high. Otherwise, there's not that, it's not that good actually just having a lot of money in the bank. That's always been our thesis. So,
we discussed the prospect of having money in the bank as opposed to going out and spending, and we've been quite aggressive with acquiring licenses and customers in the past. However, that spend is gonna set us up and augur well in the future. So as you saw in the presentation, we do have, pardon me, we do have significant Instagram email lists, and we've got lots of customers that we've spent a lot of time acquiring, and that's been a real benefit.
There's so many assets on the balance sheet. As I said, we own all of our plant and equipment, whether it's all of our digital printers. We have 10 digital printers. We have heat presses. We have pre-treatment machines.
We bought everything. We bought everything outright.
We have software. Yeah, we bought everything outright. We're kind of averse to taking on too many loans. So that's what we've done pretty much.
You're muted.
Muted, classic. Only been in lockdown for 2 years. So the next question that's come through is, what will my investment give me in return? So I might answer this one and just give a broad overview, because for a lot of people, investing through a campaign like this is their first major investment into a private company. So as a 20-second summary of this question, this answer, first and foremost, all investments are risky, so please read our general crowdsource funding risk warning and make sure that you invest within your means. And if you have any questions about investing in this asset class, please speak to a financial advisor professional to help you with this. But long story short, especially in Australia, there's 2 major markets that one can invest into. There's public markets, which is like the ASX, where you're buying stocks and shares and it's bouncing up and down with the public sort of confidence in the market. And then there are private markets where you can also buy shares in companies, but these companies are private, which means that you cannot usually buy and sell these shares as quickly as you might like to on a public market like the ASX. So if you decide that you need the money back or this investment's not for you, it's often quite hard to, sell or divest of your shares in a very fast fashion. You can't just, hop online and sell it, within 10 minutes, when the market's open. And the reason why I say this, and why it's really important to understand that this is a private investment, and it's not just through Birchal, there's private investments that happen, all over Australia, is that when you invest into a company like this, you're investing at a certain company value. And what you are hoping for as an investor is that when you eventually do sell your shares, and that might be through a variety of methods, whereas the company might buy back the shares, they may raise more capital, they may sell to another company, or they may list on the ASX, you are hoping that the value of the company has gone up a certain amount. And when you get your shares back, the value of your shares have increased. So it works very much like the stock markets, but it's a much slower and much more heavily regulated process. So to answer that question in terms of what will my return look like, the broad answer is that we can't predict the future and there's no crystal ball. Hopefully there is a return, but also on the flip side of that, you may lose all of your investment. So it is worthwhile reading, everyone must read the offer document, consider your own financial situation before investing and make sure this investment's right for you. That's sort of the Birchal answer on investing in public markets 101. As I said, if you want to learn more, do chat to a financial advisor and work out if you want to invest in private companies in general. But in, just to the Threadheads team, we're talking about a campaign that starts at this early stage, and you're really keen to get supporters, customers, people who love your brand on board at an early stage to hopefully deliver them some sort of upside. Again, we can't guarantee the upside. You did touch upon it a little bit in your presentation in terms of how you might look to exit the company or how you might look to provide returns for investors, but bearing in mind that you can't say it's going to be 100 million or 1 billion or whatever $1 million, because no one knows what that's going to be.
No one knows for sure. Look, I can give a slightly sexier answer. Whatever your return will be directly proportionate to what we're able to achieve as a result of the strategies that we're looking to implement. Now, there's no guarantees in this at all, but the things that we have touched on are we're moving to the US market. We've already achieved product market fit in Europe and the UK and have had great success there. We've only sold most of our products on t-shirts, hoodies, sweaters, and there's so many accessories and opportunities there. So many brands want to work with us in terms of licensing partnerships. We have, as we touched on, the second highest amount of expressions of interest of any company ever on Birchal. So there is excitement around the opportunity. People are seeing sort of what we've been able to do, starting as a little shop in Moorabbin to get to this point, and that it's not just luck. And so, look, if you believe in us, look, we're just know that we're going to work so hard to turn this into something phenomenal. And
then we have pages and pages and pages of fresh ideas that are just waiting to be illustrated as well. So, we are kind of continuing to invest in our original designs, and our aim is to keep having fun and putting smiles on people's faces, which I think is something that's very important in society today as well. So we feel that the brand's really going to resonate very strongly in the future, and we will continue to grow.
Yeah, fantastic. So we do still have 40 open questions, so I'm going to try and punch through them. And that was my fault for being a bit too long. So the next question: expanding to the USA will bring you into direct competition with Threadless. What are the strengths of your business that you feel will enable you to deal with that challenge?
Oh, I love this. Okay. Threadless, product quality is terrible. Very mixed collection of designs, so their merchandising isn't very good. They don't have any in-house illustration, so they rely purely on third-party artists. So they have quite a mix. There's some good designs, some terrible designs. We basically, as an invite-only platform, take the artwork that we think works really well, or the artist that we think works really well. They have lots of infringing content, so they can't work with licensors. Companies don't want to work with them. Similar to some other companies in the space that we won't mention.
I think
we're building a brand as having this in-house control. We're kind of like Apple. They're a bit more like Android. I know some people use Android. Android's great too, but in that we're slightly more closed ecosystem, if that makes sense.
Without wanting to directly pot other companies, I think they, for me, have run out of ideas, and they're a little bit one-dimensional as well. So I feel that we're a bit more diverse and have a lot more to offer.
Yeah, fantastic. Is your entire supply chain and manufacturing ethically sourced? Are you accredited with the Ethical Clothing Australia or following their framework?
Yeah, correct. So AS Colour and Stanley Stella both are. Best thing to do would be to go to their respective websites, look at their policy around responsible sourcing, around fair wages, no child labour. Definitely worth looking at that. Do your due diligence on it, but yeah, absolutely. They're leaders in that space.
People ask me, why don't you import your own clothing, and wouldn't it be cheaper to do this? And we've looked into it, but we just haven't been able to find the right company, because all of that kind of ethics is very important to us. So that's the main reason why we haven't done that to date.
And also the print on demand aspect too.
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. You have licensed collaborations, but for the design in particular of ScoMo tackling the kid, do you have permission to use Scott Morrison's likeness, or how does that work when those sort of designs come out?
Politicians are fair game, so they're in the public domain, and we are allowed to parody them. That's the answer.
Yeah. What is the business net profit margin now, and has this changed as you've increased revenues over the last 3 years?
So the exact percentage, it's in our offer document. I can't give it to you off the top of my head. Net profit it's not any higher because we've free, we can give you free shirts.
Someone asking for free shirts, I love it.
But, you know, part of that is also just our willingness to reinvest the money back into the business, whether it's making that next hire or buying that next piece of equipment. That's impacted net profitability. But I mean, just to give you clarity on what our targets are, we're looking for a target 60 to 70% gross profit margin and a target of 15% net profit margin, EBITDA, just so you have an idea of what that looks like.
Yeah, as we said before, rather than keeping money in the bank, we have decided to invest it and keep building. Yeah, very important for us.
With a just-in-time business model, have you been impacted by the supply chain disruptions happening recently around the world?
We've never ran out of stock ever. And during COVID, it was actually arguably even worse than it is now. So I remember it started 2020. AS Colour was running out of a few SKUs, but they have so many backup options for us that we used a suitable replacement.
You know, we do have contingencies in place, worst case scenario, but we've not had to look into any of that so far. We've been pretty fortunate. So
yeah, fantastic. What minimum guarantees and royalty rates are you committed to for licensed assets?
So we paid all of the minimum guarantees, so they're all pretty much paid. We have with the exception of Sonic the Hedgehog, we have to pay a second installment for that. So yeah, I mean, the minimum guarantees, it's an interesting thing. We've just sort of found ourselves in this industry. We understand how these deals are structured now. We've also got an amazing board member who is, essentially a licensing strategist for us, and he gives us a lot. Mr. Shouter, and yeah, he's a gun. So look, we're getting more familiar with this in terms of minimum guarantees. You're honestly looking at what your projections are. How much are we going to sell for Warner Brothers? How much are we going to sell for Sony? And then minimum guarantee is calculated as a percentage of that, basically. And so far, we've exceeded, for the deals that have more mature, we've exceeded our minimum guarantees. For example, Cobra Kai have exceeded, Ghostbusters have exceeded. So these licensors want to work with us now because they know we have the runs on the board and we can do products.
Cobra Kai in particular, we exceeded, I think, after 5 months, I believe.
5 months. Yeah, exactly. So it's pretty rapid.
And as we've grown, we've been able to negotiate down some of these rates as well. So we're in a position now where we can get better deals from these companies. So that's been really important for us.
Did you mention that your board member's name is Mr. Shouter? Because I'm hoping that's how you refer to him every day in conversational context. He is the CEO and founder of a company called Merchant-Wise. So they're very big in the licensing game. So he's been phenomenal for us with advice. Yeah, fantastic. How do new artists submit their work to you?
Yeah, so obviously with the in-house illustration team, that's all controlled by us. So we have at the moment 8 illustrators, and that's the mix that we have there. In terms of this is another piece of software that we've actually built as well. We have a platform. We give someone a unique login code. They create their account. We update their profile. They upload their artwork. We merchandise the store with it, and then it automatically pays them a royalty. It finds it's all automated.
If anyone does want to send across artwork, just send it across to us. We'll have a look. And, if you fit in with the vision, you're welcome to come and join Threadheads.
Yeah.
Hashtag hiring. What is your current operating cash flow ratio? And do you have a forecast of how you'd expect to see that change looking over the next 2 to 5 years?
Operating cash flow ratio. I couldn't give it to you exactly off the top of my head.
It's an interesting question.
The idea moving forward is that we're able to generate more positive cash flows. To what extent we want to, are we in a growth phase where we want to use all of our cash, or will we be in a position where we want to accumulate cash? We don't have any intentions to pay dividends in the first 2 years, but we may. It depends where our operating cash flow sits. But I mean, as a ratio, I couldn't give it to you off the top of my head, but yeah, it is something that we'll be looking to improve in the future.
Yeah, awesome. Is there a plan to allow customers to upload and print their own custom designs? So a little bit like we were talking about before, but for customers like myself, for my own terrible creations for birthday gifts and things.
Is a separate.
We did offer that in the very early days of Threadheads. We were custom printing as well. To answer the question, potentially it's something we're considering, but I can't give you a firm answer on that at this point in time, but it's possible. It's possible.
No worries. Can you provide a rough breakdown in terms of revenue across the 3 categories: licensing, in-house designs, and indie artists?
Absolutely. That's a really good question.
Very good question.
Threadheads Originals accounts for over 1/3 of our revenue, which is really great. That is, our key brand. That is the brand that generates the most amount of revenue and profit for the business. Artists account for almost just over 1/3. So you're looking
40?
Yeah, maybe 40% from these artists that we invite onto the platform. And then the rest is licensing. And so, look, I think longer term, what we want to do is probably get to a 50-50 split if we bucket licenses and artists into the same category and continue to grow our originals range. That's why we're putting more resources behind in-house illustration. We also have some other really exciting product lines with original designs that, like, we've increased the amount of original designs we've put out, and that's actually increased the percentage of originals as a total of total revenue.
And we did mention briefly before about branding. As I'd mentioned, as the Threadheads name has become much more popular and well known, that is an area that we'll be focusing on. We believe that the original Threadheads line will grow quite significantly over the next couple of years.
Yeah, and even co-branded collaborations and how we combine our brand with other brands to create unique pieces of artwork. Also, collaborations with indie artists too is something that we're already looking at. We're talking to some really cool artists, and so we see that as another growth opportunity for the brand.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Thanks,
now, noting we have 2 minutes left, we've probably got time for one more question. And remember, everyone, it has been recorded. We have recorded all of your questions as well, the 35 outstanding questions. We did get through 15. So
please email us invest@threadheads.com if you want, or and we can even provide our phone numbers. So definitely email us invest@threadheads.com. We can have a chat.
We'd love to answer all your questions, so send them across.
Yeah, fantastic. A question that's come through, which I think is a lovely one to finish on, is how long have you both known each other and where did you meet? Investing in a company is not just about the company, it's about the people and how well they get along.
I'll start. I used to work with Ace's late father, and my father had passed away when I was quite young, and his father became like a father figure to me. So I've known him since his early teen years, where we have a very strong relationship. I can say I'm very fortunate to have a partner like him that, it feels like I've got a brother in the business. So, we're very strong friendship.
Yeah, and he seems honestly like he's younger than me, so that's a bit of a concern for me. But he's just an awesome guy. Known each other for so long. Obviously, he knew my dad. And my brother, and we're all very close. So
we honestly love working with each other, have very few differences, share the same vision. So yeah, we're really fortunate like that.
Yeah, fantastic.
Thanks for the question. That was a great one.
So just on the final note then, for everyone that is tuning in today and just wrapping up on next steps. So I have put in the chat a few links to a few articles about ways that you can invest through a campaign on Birchal, what happens if you want to invest more than $10,000, and what happens if you were planning to invest outside of Australia, and also what happens to, this investment in an equity crowdfunding round, and afterwards about selling shares and things like that, some guides on that as well. But next steps, and basically what happens is that Threadheads are in the final stages of their expression of interest campaign, which is basically the waitlist for their investment opportunity. Next week, if you have expressed interest in their campaign, and if you haven't, head to Birchal and make sure you do. you will get an email. You will miss out. You will get an email from the Threadheads team and from Birchal when the offer goes live, which means you will need to have a form of ID at the ready and a payment method ready to go as well. And you can go through our 7-step process and complete your investment from Threadheads. I believe the minimum parcel size they're gunning for is a minimum of $250.
Correct.
And anyone in Australia over the age of 18 can invest up to $10,000 in this campaign. And as I said, if you want to invest more, then please have a look at the guides or reach out to the Birchal team for that as well. Their campaign will be open for the duration of the offer date on their offer document or until their campaign hits its maximum target. Once it hits its maximum target, we as a platform do have to close the offer early. So that may be, within a couple of hours, within a couple of days, or it may go to the full term of the campaign. So keep your eyes on the emails from Threadheads and from Birchal if you're keen to invest. And if you do have any questions about Birchal, equity crowdfunding and how it all works, come and chat to Birchal, support@birchal.com, or the chatbot little help thing in the corner of our website. Or if you have any questions about the investment opportunity, Threadheads, the team, some great questions in there still.
So the questions are popping up. They're so good.
You can definitely reach out to Ace and Marcus, and I might get you guys to pop your emails in here, but we'll send a bit of a follow-up as well with the
Awesome.
Amazing. Well, that's it from me. I might give it over to Ace and Marcus to sign off, and we'll call it a day.
Yeah, guys, I'm just so excited to have everyone on board with us. Even when I'm seeing those messages like bass solo from Ace to finish off, yeah, it's just like, it's legendary because our customers have built this business and we just want you to be part of it and see if we can just let's take on America, let's take on Europe, let's just do this.
Yeah, no, I second that. I really would love all of you guys to come along and get on this journey with us. And you've all been such an amazing part of it so far. So let's let the party continue. It would be fantastic.
Yeah, let's do
it. Awesome.
Love
Thanks
you guys.
so much, everyone.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.